Right now, communities around the country are honoring the 3 Wisconsin Girl Scouts and 1 mother who died after being hit by an allegedly intoxicated driver. Plus, it is Veterans Day. We'll preview some of the special events happening today to salute the men and women who fought for our freedom. And the Packers are back on the frozen tundra at Lambeau for a matchup against the Dolphins. Why our home team is favored to win.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday, 6:30 a.m. on this November 11th. I'm Josh Pretter alongside meteorologist Chris Reese, and for those heading up to Lambeau, it's going to be a cold one.
Yeah, it's a colder day. Granted, today will be milder than we were yesterday. Check this out. You ready for some good news? We're 10 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday. How about that? 15 degrees warmer in Black River Falls. Still, it's cold. It's 28 degrees right now, 26 in Black River Falls. Honestly, I feel like this is the warmest morning we've had in a while. Those were our afternoon highs yesterday, but things get cold again, so soak up the warmth, if you will, that we will have out there today. Of course, like I mentioned, 28 degrees. Those winds are out of the south at 8 right now. They're going to be turning out of the north and west later as we go through the day, but with it being a south wind and temperatures being warmer, the wind chill is only 20 as opposed to like 2 yesterday. So it feels like a much warmer morning. In fact, I'm not even wearing the long johns like I had on yesterday. Some snowflakes are flying across the northern half of the state at Lambeau right now, but those will get out of the area as we go through the morning. Temperature-wise, we'll go from about 28 to 33 throughout the morning, and then for highs, we'll top out right around 37 degrees this afternoon. First alert traffic. You're up, you're getting out. Here's how things are shaping up for the Beltline at Park Street right now. Cars are out there, but they are moving. A few brake lights showing up downtown, but so far no major travel delays have shown up this morning.
Already a better start out there.
Already a better start. We'll just hold our breath for what's going to come later on down the forecast.
Keep those long johns handy.
Keep them handy.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
New this morning, a man is waking up in the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound after a shooting overnight. Madison police say it happened in the 2100 block of Luann Lane on the city's west side. Officers believe the 33-year-old was targeted. Investigators ask anyone with information to call Madison police or the Madison area Crime Stoppers. A local company is bringing new technology to area schools. Its owner predicts it will one day be as prevalent as fire alarms. Trinity Gunshot Alarm System is developing sensors that pick up the sound of a gunshot and relay critical information like when and where it happened to those in the building and law enforcement. The company began testing the system with real fire alarms at the empty Community Christian School in Baraboo Saturday. It hopes to install the sensors within a year. We're told the goal is to buy extra time and arm everyone with as much information as possible.
The gunman has the advantage right now. His element of surprise allows him an average of 3 to 5 minutes to execute his plan, and we need to take that advantage away from the gunman and give that back to the people in the building.
Trinity Gunshot Alarm System is working with a number of local schools, a government building, and a downtown Madison nightclub to get the systems up and running. This weekend, families are honoring the lives of 3 Girl Scouts and 1 parent volunteer killed by an alleged drunk driver last week. The vigil was part of a nationwide remembrance for Sarah Schneider, Haley Hickel, Hannah Kelly, and Autumn Helgeson. On Saturday, local scouts continued to serve, cleaning the park before the vigil, gathering food and clothing donations. The scouts say it's the right thing to do. Troop leaders say they feel for the families involved, especially knowing they've been in the same position before.
Shook everyone. We were very tearful, very sad because it could have been any of our girls. We're in the community all the time serving.
Parents and volunteers who attended the vigil said they're not going to let this accident stop them or their girls from going out and doing good in their local community. It is Veterans Day, and people here in Wisconsin and across the nation are taking time to honor those who served. In Washington this morning, there are special events to honor the almost 5 million American soldiers who served in World War I. This year also marks the 100th anniversary of the armistice with Germany. There's a service to honor soldiers at the National Cathedral, a nationwide Bells of Peace tolling, and a military and veteran salute at Pershing Park. That's the site where a World War I memorial called A Soldier's Journey will be constructed. Right now, there currently isn't any World War I memorial in Washington, D.C. In just a few hours, the state capitol's Veterans Day program will honor the Centennial Armistice here in Madison. The event features the VFW 1318 Volunteer Band and the Sons of the American Revolution Honor Guard presenting the nation's flag. Badger Honor Flight veterans and volunteers who serve them will also be there. That's in the Capitol Rotunda at 9:30 this morning. The Central Branch of the Madison Library downtown is hosting a special real-life library event today. Organizers want visitors to hear from veterans firsthand. The idea is these veterans will act like books that people can actually walk up to and read to understand what it means to serve in the military. That program starts at 11 o'clock this morning. If you're looking for an opportunity to support veterans, there's a Help a Vet fundraiser happening in Windsor today. Roadside Grill is raising money for a number of organizations supporting veterans. Those include the Badger Honor Flight, Home Health United, and shelters which host free Thanksgiving meals. 10% of all food sales today will go to those programs. Packers kicker Chris Jackie will be at the restaurant this afternoon signing autographs for the cause as well. Heading into the work week, there are still opportunities to pay respects to the men and women who served. The Wisconsin Union is hosting a Veterans Day event tomorrow morning to honor Badger veterans, including fallen service members. The Student Veterans of America UW-Madison chapter president and the university's Veterans Service Coordinator will speak. The Memorial Union was dedicated to service members in 1928. The names of the more than 200 Badgers who died in active duty are inscribed on wooden plaques on the walls of the Union's Memorial Hall. That building has an electronic Gold Star honor roll where you can find the stories of more than 1,000 fallen heroes. It is available online at uwgoldstarshonorroll.com. There's a free breakfast for veterans at Hy-Vee stores across the country tomorrow. The company expects to serve more than 90,000 veterans and active duty members, military members, at its 246 stores. The stores are also collecting donations for their Homefront initiative. It's raised about $1.5 million for veterans programs over the past 5 years. You can round up your grocery bill to the nearest dollar or contribute any amount through next Sunday for that project. Money will go towards organizations like Operation First Response, helping pay for medical bills, and the Puppy Jake Foundation, connecting veterans with service dogs. 6:37 right now, and the Packers are back at Lambeau this afternoon taking on the Dolphins. The Floridians are going to have to deal with those colder temps, of course. Another reason things are looking pretty favorable for the Pack. Starting Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill will miss his 5th consecutive game for a shoulder injury. Brock Osweiler, who is taking his place, hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in almost 9 quarters. Kickoff is set for 3:30 right here on WISC-TV 3. It was a tough loss for the Badgers on the road Saturday. The team had to do without starting quarterback Alex Hornibrook once again. The weather didn't help much either, but the Badgers also missed plenty of opportunities to score, including penalties and interceptions. The team fell to the Nittany Lions 22-10. They'll head to Purdue next week. If you're looking for something to do in town today, you have another chance to check out the annual Winter Art Fair off the square. The 29th event continues inside the Monona Terrace with 135 different booths and artists showing off their stuff. The fair opens at 10 o'clock this morning. It's $5 a person to get in. Right now, there's a call out for volunteers to help run the 10th annual Isthmus Beer and Cheese Festival that happens in January. The premium tasting tickets are already sold out, but general admission tickets are available for $50. That includes unlimited samples and signature beer and cheese fest tasting glasses. You can get all that for free if you sign up for a 2 or 3 hour volunteer shift. To sign up, just go to the event's website. Wisconsin has seen a decrease in the number of bear being harvested during hunting season this fall. The DNR says it saw an 11% drop in the number of black bear brought in by hunters this year. 3,600 bear were harvested compared to 4,100 last season. That's due in part to the fact that the DNR issued 500 fewer hunting tags this year to keep the population healthy. There are only 13,000 permits available. More than 124,000 hunters applied this year. The DNR is launching a new tool to make sure you know when and where you can burn the leaves piling up in your yard. It's set up like a survey, asking questions about what you're burning and how much before letting you know whether it's a legal option. There are also details on state law on burning what's considered to be household rubbish and when a permit might be necessary. The Know Before You Burn page also includes a map of any areas where conditions are too dangerous for an open fire. It is now 6:40 this Sunday morning, and another cold start out there this morning, and we're not going to warm up much today, but we're already warmer than what we were yesterday. Here's a live look outside. Chris has details and when we can see a warm-up on the way. And a meeting with millions on the line. This week, Wisconsin lawmakers will be discussing plans to keep Kimberly-Clark in the state. How much their plan could cost taxpayers when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Well, good Sunday morning to all of you. Cloud cover is out here, but oddly enough, we are warmer than we were this time yesterday. That cloud cover is associated with the system that brought some flurries to the area last night, but for the most part, any snow shower activity will be limited to the northern half of the state. Check out the 24-hour temperature change, though. 10 degrees warmer here in Madison, 21 degrees warmer than they were yesterday in Rochester, Minnesota. They're at 26 right now. We are at 28, and really the entire state sees temperatures that are in the 20s to about 30. Some folks up north, though, do remain in the teens at this time, but we do have warmer air coming in for now ahead of a cold front that's coming in later. Take note of that. Winds out of the south at 8 miles per hour right now. Oddly enough, though, they are staying out of the south this morning. They will be turning from the north and west later. With the southerly wind and with temperatures being a little bit warmer, wind chills are about 20 degrees warmer now than they were at this time yesterday. It only feels like about 20, whereas yesterday it felt like about 2 to 8 degrees or so for a lot of folks. But as we take you hour by hour going through the rest of today, here's how things will play out. We'll see temperatures making it into the low 30s by lunchtime. Pay attention to the winds. They go southwesterly Then westerly, we'll see those highs right around 37 degrees. By tonight, those winds are now turning out of the north and west, a bit in the way of clearing skies, and that's going to allow those temperatures to drop once again. We'll see those lows around 22. Then into your Monday, it's going to be a struggle to really get those highs out of the 20s. So another cold day is expected. That's the next shot of colder air working its way on into the region. But check out how midweek that begins to relax, and then we have another shot of colder air by the weekend. That's the last one for a while, though. Beyond that, the jet stream begins to split into two. We call this a split flow. You have one jet stream across the southern half of the country, the other one up in Canada. That locks away a lot of that Canadian polar air and keeps it from getting down here. That means temperatures could be milder as we head into Thanksgiving. In fact, the high temperature trend goes from below average to above average and temperatures by the end of the next 10 days. And certainly that'll feel so much warmer compared to what we've already been experiencing lately. This morning, 28 to 33 degrees, partly sunny and breezy. And then, of course, by the afternoon, temperatures topping out right around 37 degrees. And then as we're going through the next 7 to 10 days, we are staying dry other than a light snow chance that we'll have on Friday. But even still, that should be flurries. We'll return to the 40s for sure by this time next week.
It's amazing what the sun can do this time of the year. Still a lot of heat that comes from it.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday, I sat out in the sun, and it just felt amazing, as cold as it was, believe it or not. So the sun is certainly a powerful thing.
We'll take it. All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure, Josh.
UW-Madison is getting ready to kick off International Education Week on campus. It's a joint initiative between the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Department of Education to promote programs that prepare American students for a global environment. The university will be participating by hosting a series of special events, lectures, fairs, and learning opportunities throughout the week. And to start festivities, the university is partnering with Street Foods of the World, a tasting event sampling street foods from across the world. All the food there will be prepared by local vendors and is completely free to the public. That's happening from 4 to 5 tomorrow afternoon at the Historical Society. Wisconsin Iron Chef and local Madison restaurant owner Tori Miller will be giving a special lecture following the event, discussing how his background and experiences have shaped each of his 4 restaurants here in Madison and their internationally influenced menus. It's not exactly rocket science, but something close that master's students at UW-Madison will be the first in the country to study. UW-Madison announced this week that they're launching a new master's degree in quantum computing. It's a field of technology dealing with encryption and security online. Companies like Google, Microsoft, and Intel need more graduates who get it. UW's master's program is 1 year, and it'll be only the second quantum computing degree like this in the entire world. If you're interested, the physics department is taking applications for the fall 2019 semester. From a new beginning to an ending, the Sears store at the Janesville Mall will likely close early next year. The company said it might try to bounce back if holiday sales were good, just after announcing bankruptcy and the closure of another 140 Sears and Kmart stores across the country. Madison's Sears locations closed at the end of the summer. Janesville city officials say Sears and its automotive center will close on February 3rd. It's unclear how many employees will be impacted. This would mark the second big closure for the mall after Boston store closed months ago. This week, Wisconsin lawmakers will be discussing a $100 million tax break that's designed to keep the Fox Valley paper plant in place. The state's budget committee meets on Tuesday for those conversations. Kimberly-Clark wants to close its factory in Fox Crossing, which employs around 500 people. As of right now, there are not enough Republican votes to pass the measure. It is 6:48 this morning. Madison's popular food cart Cali Fresh is still going strong. And now you can enjoy the same food sitting down in the restaurant. We are heading to Tapatios in this month's Tastemaker segment when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Temperatures are in the 20s with clouds on the horizon as you were waking up for your Sunday morning. Winds out of the south at 8. That's helping things feel a little bit warmer as well. So wind chills are drastically different today as opposed to where they were at this time yesterday. It only feels like 20 instead of feeling like 2 degrees or so this morning. The clouds will stick around. Snow showers, however, across the state. Those should remain across northern Wisconsin, though it is possible to see a flurry in our area. For the most part, though, that will be north of Madison. As you plan your day, expect that mix of sun and clouds to continue. Temperatures will make it into the low 30s by lunch and upper 30s for highs this afternoon. Josh?
Thank you, Chris. 6:52 is your time. One of the most popular food carts in the Madison area is Cali Fresh, serving, quote, fine Mexican cuisine with a California twist. But you no longer have to track down the cart for the food. After 3 years of success, the owners of Cali Fresh have opened a brick-and-mortar restaurant. Madison Magazine's Andrew Bailey checks out Tapatios in Pittsburgh.
So today we have the shrimp tacos.
These look delicious.
Yeah, these are deep fried shrimp, and they come with cabbage, pico de gallo, and chipotle sauce. And then we
What's in that chipotle sauce?
Chipotle is it's chipotle mayo.
And is this a fajita?
Yeah, these are the fajitas, and all of our meats are grilled on open fire, so it gives it an extra smoky flavor. And it comes with that, with the dinner plate, rice, beans, and salad.
Very generous plate here.
Guacamole, pico de gallo. And this one is actually we call it el trio, which means the 3. It has shrimp, chicken, and steak. And then el trio is also, so in Guadalajara, which was where we are from, mariachi's like a big thing, like the mariachi bands. And when it's only 3, it's a trio.
And what is this over here?
Sope.
Sope.
Yeah,
Sope.
and we do it a little different than other restaurants. We deep fry it, and usually it's just on the flat top. But we wanted to do something different, so we deep fry it, and it's also comes with cheese, beans, and the chorizo meat, sour cream, cilantro, onion, and queso fresco on top.
Nice, it's beautiful. Are these some of your signature dishes?
Yeah.
Pretty popular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these two, the sope and the shrimp taco, it's like completely different from anywhere else. So.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
And so Tapatios, you guys are brand new here, and you started as a food cart, right?
Correct.
Can you tell me how you decided to then open up your own restaurant?
So we started as a food cart, and we started right before there's like a contest to get into like the Library Mall or the Capitol Square. And so once we got into the Library Mall, it was kind of like, okay, we'll try it out. And then our response from the students and from faculty on campus was like amazing. It was just the first day, and we just fell in love with like the people, and I think it was kind of mutual. Like we had regulars that would come every day, and we'd always get, when are you going to do the brick and mortar? When are you going to do the brick and mortar? And so we're like, oh, we weren't quite ready yet. I think that first year, the second year that, we go through the contest again, we got our spot again there. We were kind of like, well, maybe we should. This is something that, people tend to like it, and, we really like the response. So we're like, okay, well, maybe.
Has it been fun, though, to open your own restaurant?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
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 And you guys designed this place all yourselves, right?
Everything, yeah.
It's gorgeous. And I heard that you did most of the artwork in here? Is that right?
She did most of the artwork. I did all the build. I built everything.
He did that one, and then I did this one, and some of the lettering and the one on the front. But yeah, I guess together, he did all the build up though. So
Wow. Well, thank you guys for having us in today.
Well, thank you.
I've got to eat a little bit more of this. This is delicious.
Provecho.
Yeah, buen provecho.
You can read more about Tapatios and find other food recommendations in this month's issue of Madison Magazine, which is looking at the kitchen culture in Madison. 6:56 right now. There's more News 3 This Morning Sunday ahead. A check of your top stories is next, but first, here's a preview of what's to come this morning on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we will talk all things Dane County, including the state of budget deliberations, water quality, solar energy, and maybe spend a few minutes on the election. My guest is Dane County Executive Joe Parisi, and that's coming up this morning at 10:30 on WISC.
Was this summer's record-setting flooding a once-in-a-lifetime event, or is this the new normal? The story you'll see only on News 3 just ahead.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7 a.m. on this November 11th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking some sunshine in his forecast, but first, here's what's happening right now. There are special Veterans Day events today honoring the almost 5 million American soldiers who served in World War I. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the armistice with Germany. There's a service to honor soldiers at the National Cathedral, a nationwide bells of peace tolling, and a military and veteran salute at Pershing Park. That's the site where a World War I memorial called the Soldier's Journey will soon be built. Hy-Vee stores around the country are offering free breakfast to all veterans at their stores tomorrow. The company expects to serve more than 90,000 veterans and active duty military members at its 246 stores. If you'd like to give back to veterans, the stores are also collecting donations for their Homefront initiative, which has raised around $1.5 million for veterans programs over the past 5 years. You can round up your grocery bill to the nearest dollar or contribute any amount through next Sunday for that project. The DNR has a new tool to make sure you know when and where you can burn the leaves piling up in your yard this fall. It's set up like a survey asking questions about what you're burning and how much before letting you know whether it's a legal option. There are also details on state law on burning what's considered to be household rubbish and when a permit might be necessary. The Know Before You Burn page also includes a map of any areas where conditions are too dangerous for an open fire. You have another chance to check out the annual Winter Art Fair off the square today. The annual event continues inside the Monona Terrace. It's the 29th year for that. There's going to be 135 different booths and artists showing off their stuff. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning and costs $5 to get in. 7:02 is your time right now, and it's feeling a lot like winter out there, Chris.
That's right. It may not be a bad day to stay indoors, but get this, temperatures are substantially warmer than they were at this time yesterday. Yes, warmer. 11 degrees warmer, in fact, here in Madison. 19 degrees warmer in Black River Falls. That's where we're seeing these temperatures in the mid to upper 20s this morning. 28 for us here in Madison, 27 in Black River Falls. La Crosse coming in at 30 degrees this morning. Winds, though, coming out of the south at 7 miles per hour. That is what we like to see because that's actually a warming wind coming into the picture. That's why wind chills are not as cold as they were yesterday. Plus, temperatures also aren't as cold as they were this time yesterday. There is some snow flying across the northern half of the state. There may be some flurries associated with that in the northern tier of the viewing area, but for the most part, it is just a mix of sun and clouds. We should overall stay dry. This morning, temperatures going from 28 to 33. By the afternoon, topping out right around 37 degrees and staying cold before another cold front ushers in some colder air for Monday and Tuesday of the upcoming work week. Here's traffic right now. It is moving along Park Street. That is good news. We have no major issues or delays to report across the city of Madison this morning. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. We have a heads up for drivers heading anywhere downtown this morning. The Madison Marathon is now officially underway. Started just moments ago. With those runners off to the races, there are many roads closed and detour routes in place until 1:30 this afternoon. Madison Marathon participants will go from the Capitol through the UW Arboretum, UW campus, Warner Park, and back to the Capitol. City officers warn drivers should leave plenty of time and expect some delays. Madison police will be at some of the major intersections directing traffic. Part of County Highway PD is now closed under the Highway M reconstruction project on the far west side near Verona. That stretch of PD west of Highway M will be closed until 6 tomorrow morning. Then the closure will shift to the east side of the highway, lasting through 6 a.m. Friday. New this morning, a man is waking up in the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound after a shooting overnight. Madison police say it happened in the 2100 block of Luann Lane on the city's west side around 10:45 last night. Officers believe the 33-year-old was targeted. Investigators ask anyone with information to call Madison police or the Madison area Crime Stoppers. Happening today, UW students will pay their respects to the people killed during this week's shooting at a Southern California bar. March of Our Lives Madison is teaming with other local organizations to put on the vigil for Thousand Oaks. People plan to gather at the UW Library Mall around 5 o'clock tonight. They'll honor the 12 people killed Thursday at the Country Bar in Thousand Oaks. That's about a half hour from Ventura. It was a college night going on, and police say 26-year-old Ian Long, a former Marine combat veteran, killed himself after killing those 12 people, posting on social media that he had no reason to do it. Also in California, hundreds of thousands are out of their homes this morning as several massive wildfires continue to burn across the state. One of them, the Woolsey fire, doubled in size overnight. Officials say the blaze destroyed at least 70,000 acres in Ventura and Los Angeles counties, forcing more than 200,000 people from their homes. North of Sacramento, the Camp Fire charred more than 100,000 acres. It's being blamed for at least 23 deaths.
Just a shower of hot embers. Part of my sleeve and pocket on my jacket here is burned.
Powerful winds, which caused fires to explode across the state, have calmed significantly, but forecasters are once again expecting those winds to pick up today. We experienced some severe weather of our own here in Madison this summer. 2018 is now the wettest year in Wisconsin since the 1880s. But with 2 historic flooding events across southern Wisconsin in just the last 10 years, is flooding the new normal? Only News 3's meteorologist Dave Caulfield has more on what the experts are saying and what you can do to protect yourself from future flooding.
Sun shines on a crisp fall day in Cross Plains. The Black Earth Creek babbling but behaving. A colossal change from 2 months ago.
That far fence line, see where that line of leaves comes? That was the water level.
For 30-year resident Jeff Meyer.
We had a 30-foot river from that curb all the way to the front stoop of the house.
More than 15 inches of rain in 24 hours' time destroyed Meyer's lawn and flooded his basement, part of his garage, and 2 of his vehicles. Jeff battled the barrage of water until 5 in the morning, but soon it was too much for the sump pumps, shop vac, and any amount of manpower to handle. For Meyer, the cleanup has been a non-stop struggle.
For winter, getting somewhat of a lawn put in, get a tree removed, trying to line up in contractors inside to fix drywall damage.
How much have the costs been over the past couple of months?
Close to 40 grand.
This is a brand new threat that we need to react to ahead of time if we want to stay ahead of it.
UW professor of meteorology John Martin says climate change is contributing to more downpours and flooding across southern Wisconsin compared to 50 years ago.
The warmer the air gets, the more water vapor there is to squeeze out in the types of storms that come by, especially summertime storms that come by and can drench us in sort of extreme rain events.
And the atmosphere isn't showing any signs of slowing down. Climate projections from the UW show a change in 2+ inch per 24-hour rain events of 2 to 5 days per decade.
I think there'll be new places, as you say, that'll be surprised that they are actually more subject to flooding than they used to be.
It was very trying times for the community.
American Family Insurance agent Mike Grazinia lives just a few miles from Jeff Meyer. He watched helplessly as hundreds of his neighbors navigated the aftermath of the rain without flood insurance.
What's most surprising is with all the people and the damages, we've quoted some, but nobody has yet to buy one since the flood.
Part of why, according to Grazinia, only about 3% of people in Cross Plains have flood insurance is the confusion surrounding the coverage.
If I'm not in a floodplain, I can't get flood insurance, and that's absolutely wrong. Anybody is eligible for a flood insurance policy as long as their community is a participating community.
In fact, it's more cost-effective to buy flood insurance if you live in a low-risk area. Grazinia says coverage in Cross Plains can range from about $40 a month for a low-risk home to $150 a month for a high flood risk house. But if you're thinking that's the end of the story, think again. Flood zones can change over time, and so can your premium. Sometimes it would just be cheaper to pay for the repairs. This insurance doesn't cover everything like personal property in your basement, and the coverage is through FEMA, meaning not all private companies offer flood insurance, so access can sometimes be tricky.
And the water just jumped right up on the street.
For Jeff Meyer, flood insurance isn't on his radar at the moment. He's making home improvements to try and lessen the impact of future flooding.
Putting a generator in. We've got some sump pumps down there. Don't want to lose power to those. Trying to re-landscape out here a little bit, you know, to remediate any water that might be coming off the roof.
In addition,
I do recommend people to get a flood insurance policy.
Flood coverage is still one of the best options to help with cleanup costs. However, almost everyone we talk to for the story said something like this.
We need to probably revise the way that flood insurance is even available to the average consumer.
No matter the case, the most frustrating thing for Meyer is knowing we're all just at the mercy of Mother Nature.
There's not much you can do in the circumstance that we had on August 20th. I mean, there's just only so much you can do.
In Cross Plains, Dave Caulfield, WISC News 3.
The National Weather Service is still working to verify the Cross Plains rain amount of 15.33 inches. If confirmed, it would break the record for the most rain in a 24-hour period in Wisconsin history. 10 minutes past 7 o'clock right now, and there's no rain in the forecast, but plenty of cold temperatures. Here's a live look outside. Chris is going to let us know just how long it's going to take to warm back up to average. That's when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
We got a lot of cloud cover around on this Sunday. Some snowflakes flying north of Madison. It's possible to see a flurry in our viewing area, but again, most of that should hold true to the north. Here's Weather Track right now showing you where those snow showers are. Again, mainly the northern half or even the northern third of the state getting in on that action. For the rest of us, though, we do have a lot of cloud cover in play. We're going to be seeing temperatures, though, that are warmer than they were at this time yesterday. Right now, we're 11 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday at 28 degrees. Some 30 showing up as you work your way over towards the Mississippi River Valley, 30 in La Crosse and Boscobel, 30 in Milwaukee as well, with the lake keeping things just a tad bit warmer for them. Winds coming out of the south at 7 miles per hour is a large reason for for those warmer temperatures in addition to the cloud cover kind of working as a blanket. We'll continue to see those winds out of the south going through the morning before they become more out of the west and northwest into the afternoon. But with temperatures being warmer, the winds being light and out of the south, the wind chills are not as cold as they were this time yesterday. Wind chills are in the upper teens and lower 20s. So here's how things shape up going through the rest of the morning. We'll reach the low 30s by lunchtime. Pay attention to the wind direction as well. Right now they're coming out of the southwest at lunch. As we head into the afternoon, they become westerly with highs around 37. Then tonight, northwesterly and clearing skies. That's where lows will fall into the lower 20s before struggling to get out of the 20s for those highs tomorrow. That's another shot of cold that's working into our region right now. That one won't be as long duration, if you will, but as we head towards the weekend, we'll have an additional shot of cold before the jet stream essentially splits into two and locks up a lot of that colder air mainly north of us as we head towards Thanksgiving. So it is looking like potentially a milder pattern is on the horizon. So, whew, truly cold for Monday and Tuesday. Then we begin to warm things up, perhaps even going above average as we get towards days 9 and 10 in the 10-day forecast. So this morning, temperatures going from 28 to 33 degrees. Winds out of the south at 8 to 15 miles per hour. By the afternoon, those winds come more westerly with temperatures right around 37 degrees for highs. Sunshine, though, will linger, especially as we get you into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There's a slight chance of snow showers or flurries as we head into Friday, but then beyond that, we are warming up next weekend and to the week beyond.
I'll be talking about frozen pikes being a concern tomorrow morning on the morning show, and it looks like that's coming at a good time.
And that is coming at a good time, especially with, I think, Tuesday night's low. A lot of us could actually see temperatures in the low teens to single digits, so it is certainly a good time.
All right, we'll have the latest tips from experts on that tomorrow morning. Chris, thank you.
My pleasure, Josh.
We've been asking you to share your morning with us. Julie posted this on Facebook. You can see the top of the Capitol there, obviously. A big week at the Capitol. Thank you so much for sharing, Julie. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page, Twitter, or Instagram. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and that's how we can pick out our favorites and use them right here on the program. A local artist is honoring his father and son, both veterans, in his latest gallery show. Terry Sullivan is showing off his latest paintings at the Yahara Bay Distillery, but one painting in particular is his favorite. Staff Sergeant Sullivan depicts Sullivan's father and son who were deployed exactly 70 years apart. His father died before his son was born, but both have something in common. They both made Staff Sergeant while deployed.
When my son got back from Afghanistan, he was just thrilled to be in a painting with the grandpa he never met, and he got to feel a little bit closer to him that way.
Sullivan has only been painting for 6 years, but says as a medical product designer for 30 years, visual representations have been a part of his life for a long time. You can see the gallery at the Yahara Bay Distillery now through November 27th. A colorful holiday tradition kicked off overnight here in Madison. The switch has officially been turned on at Olin Park for the annual Holiday Fantasy and Lights. It is the 30th year of the holiday celebration. From now until New Year's Day, you can see the lights every night after 4 o'clock. The best part, it is free. 7:18 this morning, the CDC reports even more cases of the mysterious illness that can leave children paralyzed. Plus, to spank or not to spank. The controversial parenting in practice is back in the headlines again, and doctors are once again weighing in. The news is back on News 3 This Morning Sunday. On the Health Watch this morning, the number of cases of the mysterious illness that can leave children paralyzed is growing. The CDC is now reporting at least 80 confirmed cases of acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM, in 25 states. The mysterious illness leaves many people, many of them children, with sudden weakness and sometimes paralysis. It's been a controversial topic for generations, and spanking is back in the headlines once again. Meg Ferris dives into what doctors have to say about the practice.
Keep bumping into him, we might have to take a break.
Ask adults if they were spanked for discipline as a child. Many will say yes. But here at the Parenting Center at Children's Hospital, these parents say they've ended that generational practice with their children.
If he's acting up to the point where I want to spank him, it's because I haven't set up the situation for him to succeed. Either he's hungry or he needs a nap.
I think it's important. There are many ways to teach a kid, a children, a baby.
We do have timeouts. He's finally starting to figure out, when he goes to that spot, that means that he's done something wrong.
Research showing the negative effects of spanking, verbal abuse, shaming is slow to catch on. The studies done by Tulane's Dr. Catherine Taylor were heavily cited by the American Academy of Pediatrics to strongly recommend that parents not use physical force on children.
We know consistently that kids that are hit are at higher risk of then experiencing dating violence as teenagers or even partner violence as adults.
Dr. Taylor says children not hit do better physically, mentally, have less aggressive behavior. They don't have the increased anxiety and depression as those who were. She says it's important to redirect bad behavior to the appropriate behavior and praise and reinforce good behavior.
It just makes sense because it's about trust. It just seems to be where the research is going, and I'm glad that more is coming out about it.
Dr. Taylor says science is mixed on if timeouts work because they have to be done in a specific way. But she says there's no safe level of hitting. It's harmful and ineffective.
Based on the science now, it's time to change.
More people across the country are practicing yoga than ever before. According to the CDC, nearly 15% of U.S. adults surveyed said they practiced yoga over the past year. The use of meditation is also becoming more popular. CDC says there are now 3 times as many people using that practice than there were 5 years ago. I am one of them. 7:24 this morning, and still ahead this morning, the original improved. We hit the road with Harvey in the redesigned Ford Mustang, a car that's now been around for more than 50 years. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning Sunday. Buckle up, it's time to hit the road with Harvey Briggs as we head behind the wheel of the 2018 Mustang GT.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is November 11th. I'm Josh Breiter. We're going to check on the forecast with Chris in just a moment, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. UW students will pay their respects to the people killed during this week's shooting at a Southern California bar. March for Our Lives Madison is teaming up with other local organizations to put on a vigil for Thousand Oaks. People plan to gather at the UW Library Mall around 5 o'clock tonight, honoring the lives of the 12 people killed. Many of them were college students. The University of Wisconsin is getting ready for the start of International Education Week on campus. It's a joint initiative between the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Department of Education to promote programs that prepare American students for a global environment. The university will be participating by hosting a series of special events, lectures, fairs, and learning opportunities throughout the week. The Packers are back at Lambeau this afternoon, taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Floridians are going to have to deal with the colder temperatures, of course. Another reason things are looking pretty favorable for the Pack. Starting Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill will miss his 5th consecutive game for a shoulder injury. Brock Osweiler, who's taking his place, hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in almost 9 quarters. Kickoff is set for 3:30 right here on WISC-TV 3. And it is going to be a cold one up at Lambeau, Chris.
That's right. Though warmer than yesterday, still chilly overall. Temperatures are in the upper 20s to start off the morning right now. Winds are coming out of the south, and that's why we do ultimately feel warmer. You'll see those winds out of the south pretty much across the entire southern half of the state this morning. But that will change eventually as we go through the day. In the meantime, wind chills are a little bit warmer as opposed to yesterday. It feels like the upper teens and low 20s for a lot of folks out there. Snowflakes are flying, though. If you go up towards Lambeau, especially that entire northern tier of the state, getting in on the snow from a clipper system moving through the area. Cloud cover remains in place for the southern half of the state, and we'll see that mix of sun and clouds as we go through the day. Temperatures will top out around 37 degrees for us. Cooler towards the north, but still in the low 30s. That's where they'll even have a chance of some light flurries to fly. But tonight, those clouds will break up. We'll see those lows falling into the 20s. First alert traffic, if you were headed out for your Sunday, we are not seeing any kind of issues at all at the moment. Traffic is going and moving smoothly this morning. No major volume or anything that you would see during the work week. We are seeing a little bit of slower traffic showing up right around Stoughton Road, but so far our cameras are not showing anything showing up yet. But do be prepared for some possible slowdowns around the Stoughton Road area. In the meantime, enjoy your Sunday. Josh.
All right, Chris, we will try. Thank you so much. It was first introduced as a 1965 model, and the Ford Mustang hasn't strayed far from the original idea. The original pony car was redesigned for 2018, but it's still a V8 rear-wheel drive, 2-door, 4 wheels of fun. Mark Kane checked it out, taking us behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs.
This is a beast. Yeah, it is. It's a Mustang GT, so it has the newly tuned 5-liter V8 in it, which produces 460 horsepower.
That means 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds.
This is Detroit at its finest. Yeah, it really is. I mean, this is an art that has been perfected over the last 50 years. It's wild, it's loud, it's raucous, it's fun. It's everything a V8 pony car should be.
Our test car in Velocity Blue is a true sports car. You know you're driving.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. I've got it in Sport Plus mode, and it's very edgy in this mode.
But there are other drive modes, 6 in all, including snow. Good luck with that. And drag strip mode. Even better luck with that. And we can't really appreciate this car driving on city streets.
Yeah, no. If you want to get the most out of this car, find a local track, take it out on track day, and then you can really let it rip. Otherwise, you're just, you know, enjoying the V8 soundtrack. This is not a practical car for everyday use. It's a comfortable car for everyday use. You could drive this and commute to and from work in it, but you're going to get 25 miles per gallon. And with the GT, especially like this, you're probably going to want to put it away in the winter.
Speaking of comfort, inside, optional equipment includes every modern safety feature available. Our test car also has the optional 10-speed automatic with paddle shifters. Harvey prefers the 6-speed manual. A GT's base is about $39,000, but this one has tons of options.
This also has the Ford GT Performance package on it, so it has a more sport-oriented suspension. It has the 6-piston Brembo brakes. It has larger Michelin Performance summer tires on it.
It also has the optional Magna Ride suspension.
I can never think of how to explain this properly. It uses magic in the shock absorbers.
Magic shock absorbers.
That when you switch modes, they become stiffer or softer depending on the type of ride you want. Even in normal mode, this ride is pretty tight in this.
Comfort is not the objective here.
No, this is a car that's made for doing things like this. So a base Mustang with 310 horsepower and a 6-speed transmission is about $26,000. So you can get into a Mustang for a pretty reasonable amount of money, but you can move up really quick. This car has, $12,000 worth of options above and beyond the GT package.
But you know what? That growl, that noise, that stiff ride, it's worth every cent.
You're gonna feel it, and feel it in the best ways possible.
That's stunning.
Yeah, for a car, that you can get right out of the showroom, just like this. This car is brilliant, right out of the box.
I love that color. You can read more of Harvey's reviews on his website, ridesanddrives.com. 7:34 right now. If you're looking for something to do in town today, you have another chance to check out the annual Winter Art Fair off the square. The 29th event continues inside the Monona Terrace with 135 different booths and artists showing off their stuff. The fair opens at 10 o'clock this morning. It costs just $5 to get in. Looking ahead to another popular Wisconsin Fest, there's a call out for volunteers to help run the 10th annual Isthmus Beer and Cheese Festival in January. The premium tasting tickets are already sold out, but general admission tickets are already available for $50 a piece. That includes unlimited samples and a signature Beer and Cheese Fest tasting glass. 7:35 this morning, it's a parent's worst fear. One day a mass shooting in a school or other place will hit home. Up next, how one Baraboo woman is making it her mission to make sure we're all as prepared as possible if tragedy strikes. This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
There's a lot of cloud cover out there for a lot of folks this morning. Flurries to the north, just clouds for us down south here in Madison. Temperatures are in the upper 20s for us. Wind chills are in the upper teens and lower 20s. So it is warmer overall than it was yesterday, but still pretty chilly as you step outside this morning. Here's Weather Track showing you where the snow is across the northern half of the state. But we're going to see a lot of that cloud cover around pretty much all day long. I do think, though, we at least have the chance to see some peaks of sun in. So as we go through the day, plan for those mostly cloudy skies. Some peaks of sun will show up. We'll reach the low 30s by lunchtime and then top out in the upper 30s this afternoon. Josh?
Thanks, Chris. 7:39 this morning. The news of mass shootings in schools and public places impacts the whole country. A parent's worst fear is one day those headlines will hit home. Our Madeline O'Neill tells us why one Baraboo woman says there's something that can be put into public spaces to save lives that could one day be as simple as a fire alarm.
Even just a 1-minute delay means lives. Every single second counts.
When an active shooter holds such an advantage.
Now, his element of surprise allows him an average of 3 to 5 minutes to execute his plan.
Stacey Jacks wants to put the power back in the hands of the public.
Being a mom and a teacher, after a couple of the tragic events that have happened with active shooter situations, I just became unexpectedly impassioned with solving this issue.
She owns Trinity Gunshot Alarm System, which detects the sounds of gunshots and reports critical information like exactly when and where it happened to those within the building and law enforcement.
So response efforts can be faster, more efficient, and more unified. What I really love about the system is that you can have the people in the building actually responding and actively taking part in their survival while help is on the way.
This will be sequence 17, AR-15, 3 shots with the pause. You're good. The opportunity to use technology to do good things and help people, it's my biggest goal. We've got AR-15, this will be sequence 14, rapid fire. And we're ready when you are.
The company is beta testing the alarm system for the first time Saturday at Community Christian School of Baraboo.
Make sure that we actually detect gunshots and we don't detect things that aren't gunshots.
With plans to install it in the school within a year.
If students don't feel safe, there's just no way that they can focus on their studies. So for us, it was just a no-brainer.
Let's do 2 shots with the pause between them. This is a big thing, and to see it happen and be developed in the small town of Baraboo, first of all, it's really incredible, but also it's kind of a testament to what can be done today with technology.
That technology, which Jacks predicts will one day be standard equipment in public buildings, has the potential to afford people precious time.
You can do a lot if you have information in a second's worth of time.
Trinity Gunshot Alarm System's goal is to get this technology into as many public places as possible. They're working with a number of area schools, a government building, and a downtown Madison nightclub to get the systems up and running. A first alert traffic note for any drivers heading downtown this morning. The Madison Marathon is officially underway. It started around 7 o'clock. With those runners off to the races, there are many roads closed and detour routes in place until 1:30 this afternoon. Madison Marathon participants will go from the Capitol through the UW Arboretum, UW campus, Warner Park, and back to the Capitol. City officers warn that drivers should leave plenty of time and expect some delays. Police will be at some of the major intersections directing traffic. Part of County Highway PD is now closed under the Highway M reconstruction project on the far west side near Verona. That stretch of PD west of Highway M will be closed until 6 tomorrow morning. Then the closure will shift to the east side of the Highway M, lasting through 6 a.m. Friday. 7:42 right now. Still ahead this morning. We're waking up with those colder temps again today. Not as bad as yesterday. Chris is tracking those temps and will join us after this with a look ahead at your work week forecast. But first, happy birthday to Mason and all the other kids turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Look who's
We're tracking some light snow flying across the northern half of the state this morning, anywhere from about Door County through Green Bay all the way back towards Peoria, getting in on snow showers and flurries. Down south where we are in Madison from about Stevens Point, and then down towards the Illinois state line. We're dealing with cloud cover. There's no real snow coming out of the sky, though. Temperatures this morning are 11 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday. That is all thanks to a south wind coming into the picture. So we're sitting at 28 degrees, 23 in Stevens Point, 22 in Wausau. We gradually get colder as you work way towards the north. That's where a cold front is that's going to be sweeping its way down south as we go through tonight. Again, southerly winds in play right now. That's the reason wind chills are not as bad as they were yesterday. We're going to continue to watch that southerly wind stick around before our wind direction changes. And speaking of those wind chills, here they are right now. Instead of being in the single digits or below zero for some of us, we are seeing wind chills in the teens and 20s this morning. So yes, still cool, but generally warmer than we were at this time yesterday. Let's take you hour by hour through the rest of today. Here we are once we approach lunchtime. Winds coming out of the south and southwest. Temperatures will be in the low 30s for a lot of folks. They'll continue to turn westerly as we go into the afternoon. We'll see those highs right around 37 for us here in Madison. And of course, colder the farther north you go. The cold front does work its way on through as we head into the late evening and early nighttime hours. Here we are by tomorrow morning, though. Winds coming out of the north and west. Temperatures will be in the lower 20s and upper teens for a lot of folks. And then with that cold air settling in, it will be hard pressed to get those temperatures to go beyond the upper 20s for tomorrow's highs. Here's that shot of colder air coming in that's going to make tomorrow one of those cooler days. It'll last into Tuesday. By midweek, we turn things milder, and then we'll have another shot of colder air that moves in by next weekend. That'll have full attachment to the poles up in Canada. So that shot of cold air does look like it could be impressively cold once again. But as we head towards Thanksgiving, our jet stream splits into two. We call this a split flow, and the northern feature of that jet stream will lock up a lot of that colder air in Canada. That means we will be seeing milder temperatures as we work our way towards Thanksgiving, which is certainly good news for a lot of us traveling. But in the meantime, we'll have those temperatures that are substantially below average, working their way, though, to above average over the course of time. This morning, 28 to 33 degrees. We'll see that mix of sun and cloud cover. We will also be very breezy. By the afternoon, temperatures top out around 37. Still, it's cold with that mix of sun and clouds out there. We will see more sunshine once we get you towards the middle of the week, along with warmer temperatures, but a cold front comes in towards the weekend. That'll bring a chance for some snow showers and flurries on Friday before we begin to make things milder. And since we are celebrating milder temperatures, why not go to Pet Walk with Ned in Madison? Man, cats are stealing the show. That's funny.
Doing some stretches there, it looks like.
Stretching or celebrating, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, if you're walking your cat later, again, temperatures will be in the upper 20s and low 30s around it.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Time right now is 7:49 this morning. Be sure to stick with News 3 and Channel 3000 this weekend. A reminder, we will not have a 5:30 show due to the Packers game, but you can catch a recap of the game and our top stories on our news at 10. But first on News 3 this morning, a musical tribute to our heroes. It is Veterans Day, and we're ending our show with a very special song from Sean Michael Dargan to the men and women who fought on behalf of all of us. We're back in a moment. What is being called a live rock and roll history show, and tonight's Sean Michael Darjan and John Wedge will play at the Barrymore paying tribute to the soldiers who fought in World War I. And they join us this morning with a preview of what to expect. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So talk a little bit about what you guys are about.
Sure. Well, this is a live rock and roll history show as we've built it, which seems probably strange and new to many people. John,
Yeah, I have a background in history, and like the other co-producers of the show, we really wanted to recognize the 100th anniversary of World War I and the impact that it's had on us even still today. And being also a musician and being friends with these guys, we really wanted to try and put together something musical that would allow people to kind of experience some of the World War I sounds and sights through film and still photographs and this huge video wall behind the band. And in fact, we managed to get 3 big Madison bands and a couple of really cool acts from Milwaukee to be part of the show.
So why is something like this so important, and what can people expect tonight?
Well, tonight it's multimedia in the truest sense. It's a 24-foot tall digital video wall. Think of if you've ever seen U2 live in concert or bands that put on a true video aspect, not just a great light show. We'll have a great light show, but there's 5. The bands are going up every time. Original music that's been written for this show about the armistice. The 100th anniversary is today, the day the war ended, 1918. There's music about all aspects of the war. The song we're going to play for you is about the war at sea in 1915. One of the things that brought the United States into the war, and it's been so long now, a lot of people have really forgotten about what World War I was, how it was kind of really an arbitrary war of choice based on a bunch of cousins who all were in charge of different countries in Europe. But it really caused a seismic shift in geopolitical reality. And everything since that time has really been prefaced and the stage was set by this conflict.
All right, well, we're going to hear from you in a moment. I think we've got a graphic to show you all the information. We're going to let you guys get set up, and then Chris is going to give us a final check of the forecast.
That's right. We are going to see more cloud cover as we go through the rest of today. Temperatures will top out into the upper 30s, and then by the time we head into tomorrow, it's going to be another colder day. Temperatures will struggle out of the 20s at that point. Cold for Tuesday as well, but then we do mild things up towards Thursday for another cold shot, but then completely milder towards the end of the 10-day forecast there.
All right, well, thanks for joining us as we go on this Veterans Day. Here's a musical tribute. Thanks, guys.
A beleaguered island nation in desperate need of aid will plead with Woodrow Wilson to help shatter this blockade. Torn up in wipers and in the Dardanelles, we need cheese and butter too, but mostly we need shells. The Hum will call this contraband, but wouldn't they love to take a look in the belly of the Lusitania? The belly of the Lusitania. They'll never know just what they have. The belly of the Lusitania. Here's a man too proud to fight, the teeters on the brink. A ship too tough and much too fast to sink. Protect your ships as if our own by any legal means from prowling unrestricted submarines. The Hun would call this contraband. Oh, but wouldn't they love to take a look in the belly of the Lusitania?
weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.